was elected president of the Purdue class in 1950. I assumed at the time that the primary responsibilities would be parties and reunions, gala weeks and the good old days, but I was wrong. I failed to properly analyze our class, a class that was made up largely of GIs from World War II. They were older, they were determined, they were ambitious, they wanted to make their mark in the world, and they have. They have professionally. But they also wanted to make a mark on their university, the place that gave them their start. At our 25th reunion in 1975, we built this little mall here in the center of campus by Stanley Colder Hall with the trees and the planters and the benches, a pleasant little place on a busy campus. And now, as we grow older and feel more responsibilities to our university, we have an even more ambitious plan. We plan to build a permanent facility of enduring value to our university, a new lecture hall that will be placed here on the Oval, that will be used by our children and our children's children and many after them as a new teaching facility that can make maximum use of our good teachers, of the technologies available, and will be of permanent value to this great educational institution.
This is all about. It's a situation here where, looking back on it, we ought to be the sponsors of memorabilia, if you will, but the heritage that we come from and the challenge back to the members of the class that are helping us here, thinking ahead to where they'll be 35, 40 years from now, and then ultimately coming back and doing something even more important than we're attempting to do here. But to me, that heritage is what this is all about.
I don't have any doubt that the greatest benefit or the greatest change that occurred as far as my life is concerned is the availability of an education at Purdue University. And I think that's probably true of most people. And as a consequence, I think most people need to realize that they didn't get that for nothing. Somebody put it there for them. And I think we have to also now put the characteristics, the facilities at universities, and to enable students of the future to also get a similar education.
In thinking about the specifics of what this building will mean to the university and to the class of 1950, you know, back in 1950, we didn't know much, if anything, about television instruction. We'd never heard of computers, really. There's so many modern technologies that have come along that we now use in the classroom. And we simply have our older classrooms, many of them still exist, that were built back in the early to mid-50s, some before that, some afterwards. But we need the most modern technological large lecture hall that a university can have, and if we can achieve that, I'm sure we will, I think it'll do a great deal for our students. It'll help them in their learning process and help our teachers teach, make it a more attractive place. It will help keep and attract good faculty, because after all, that is a highly competitive field today. To the class of 50, this is going to be a monument for them for all time. I know they don't want or expect something like that, but nevertheless they deserve it for the efforts they put forward in this regard, and for all the things they did for the university and the country before that.
It was so difficult to get a date. You know, the ratio was what, 12 to 1?
Oh, it was horrible. It was really horrible.
It's awful.
From your perspective, perhaps, but from my perspective, all the girls on this campus lived in one room with Carrie.
Yeah, I think so. Some weeks you would see one.
Yeah, once in a while you'd see a girl on the campus.
But there were lots of things about the campus. It was, as you say, there were all these buildings that were going up, temporary buildings, we thought.
You know, it's a funny thing about Quonset huts and our so-called FWA buildings. They have tried everything over the last 40 years to make them look like something else. And I don't care what you do with them. You paint them, you can brick them, you can change the windows. They still look like World War II.
Yep, that's right.
boycott, the strike. That was the fall of '46.
Yeah, well, they raised the price of haircuts clear up to $1.
Yeah. Well, we were, some of us had hairs an inch long there, you remember, just in striking
That's
against
when they
it.
picketed out in front of Red's barber shop down by Deeks.
But what was the slogan then about the haircuts? Bucket throw, let it grow.
Something like that. I guess that was it. What did we look like, us old veteran types, with our boondockers and...
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it brought a kind of seriousness, I would say, to the classes that I would not have, that I didn't expect, for example. In other words, they were, they'd been through a lot of things, and so they didn't have frivolous answers to things, whether it was an English class or that sort of thing. There was a lot of partying, as I recall. I don't know that we want to get into too much of that, but...
That's nostalgic.
That's nostalgic as well.
Now, wasn't there a picture of you in the debris?
Yes,
Here we go.
The
The city jail.
I knew somebody was going to bring that up. I think I'll leave.
I wonder what the average age of that class, the fall of '46, was.
Oh, it was much higher than many of the classes.
But it's well into his 20s. I was,
Both before and after.
yeah. Wide variation.
Then and now, there are some samenesses. We still have the DARs, the damned average raisers. Appreciated so very much the good people that I had in the class of 50.
Remember that.
The reason I hit the GIs is that when you think of it, a lot of us really wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to higher education unless it had been for the GI Bill.
A flood of eager veterans descended on schools, colleges, and universities, severely taxing classroom space and housing.
This was a generation of academic hustlers. They were really ambitious. They wanted to learn. They worked as hard. I remember in my class, we worked day and night to learn everything we could.
The question was, would they lower the academic standards? I don't remember hearing that at the time. I can imagine it being made. No, that was nonsense. They must have raised academic standards by a good 25%. These were serious students. They were not at college to monkey around. No question about that. Many of them were already married or got married immediately once they were discharged. They immediately started having babies. No, this was not a rah-rah bunch.
We had a purpose, and we knew that we could accomplish some things. We could accomplish some things for our country and as a way of repaying what we think of as a debt to our society for generating the GI Bill of Rights. This was to us a great, great opportunity, and one which we lovingly refer to as our great emancipator.
I had all that GI Bill waiting on me, and of course, we were kind of stingy kind of people, and it seemed like I ought to use that money that was available, you know. And so I went to ag school at Purdue, Made a good record, I'm not bragging, but had a good time, was in theater, and I just really kind of learned how to live, you know. I graduated Purdue and took the GI Bill and got a good education, went back to the farm. Been there about 3 years, and it was a warm April day in 1953, and the cows had just been out on pasture, and I was cleaning out the barn, hauling manure. You understand that, don't you?
Yeah, I understand.
And I was scooting, had the scoop shovel, and I was scooting the manure down to where I could throw it up in the manure spreader, and I slipped and fell, just like I about did then, and broke my leg. And I was laying there in that manure and that mud and the goo, and there appeared a vision. I tell people this, it wasn't quite like this, but there appeared a vision as I was laying there in all that pain, and I was doing this definitive thinking about my life and my future, and that vision was an 8.5 by 11 sheet of parchment paper, rather insignificant it seemed. It said in curved letters, baccalaureate degree. That's French, you know, and that means you don't have to lay there in that manure the rest. In front of a new building that we instigated, and we were instrumental in its success. And starting in the fall semester, there will be happy and learning students.
Hi. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Hi. Good to see you.
Morning.
Smells like new. Hi, Paul.
Unfinished.
Hi. Classrooms and so forth down this way, but that's all you can see from here, and that's all you will get to see today.
To get the flow of students in and out, we're having trouble right now. There's up on the balcony that you don't see now that has all those windows. That's where the art display is, and what we want to do is to encourage the students to go up that way, assemble, come in here while the other students are coming out down below. So there's a flow control mechanism involved there. And exceptional acoustics, they've been checked once, but if you go back there right now, you can hear me. So I don't even need amplification as it relates to it. But if you have trouble, all kind of mics. My speaker spots along the edge, everything else. So we're real pleased, but you really have to come back, we'll say, during a fall term, because on the 20th of August, this thing's going to be alive. I mean to tell you, it will be alive.
memory? Well, let me try to just say that. Locomotive Lab, Cal College, populated by single white males. And you know, it didn't change that much in the 20 years that followed that. But when this group came back, or came to matriculate in 1946, this place did begin to change, and it has evolved.
Is there really a slide rule in there?
No slide rule, no. That's, we had to find one.
Well, I could have given you a couple.
Yeah.
To old college days, days at dear old Purdue, days of joy and true, happy days of youth. You'll see in fancy golden haze friends that were dear